Hello there, my name is Martin Henley. This is the Effective Marketing YouTube channel. And if you know anything about this channel, if you've spent a second here, you will know that I am on a mission to give you everything you need to be successful in your business. Now, as far as I'm aware, what you need if you're going to be successful in your business is to be much more effective with your sales and marketing. So not only am I here giving you everything I know about sales and marketing, not only am I pulling in anyone I can find with experience of sales and marketing to share their expertise with you. Not only are we looking at the news, we are also reacting to the worst of content and the best of content on the internet with my very, very good friend, the man with the amazing beard and the Triumph motorcycle. It's Andy Gwynn.
Hey,
You're an
Martin, how are you
absolute...
doing?
I am extraordinarily well. While the earth burns, while the world burns, I'm keeping a bright face on things. How are things there in España?
España es muy bien. It is burning. It's getting very hot.
Okay.
So I'm even thinking about going back to England, but that might be August. But it's cool. It's not cool. It's cool and it's hot. It's great. Doors
Yes.
open, weather's good, food's good.
Yes.
Global economy's scary, but I'm doing all right. Holed up in the mountain village. I'm good.
Good. And you've got a nice breeze coming through the house, have you? You've got some doors and windows open. And
I'm sat in Mary's office downstairs. That's a cabinet full of tarot books and decks and stuff, and just in the corners there's a fan. I haven't put aircon in her office. I've put that up in the bedroom and the lounge, but it's cool enough. Yeah.
In the bedroom where things get hot.
Shit. How old am I? I've learned Spanish, for I prefer motorbikes and beer.
Okay, good. I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. Right. So, did you just say play relaxing music? Because that just triggered my phone to say play relaxing music. And they tell us Google isn't listening. Google's listening. Google is listening. Okay, good. So we're making another one of our reaction videos. So this is good. So for those who haven't been here before, I think we only did one before, but I got upset about Gary Vaynerchuk and we watched some of his content and you calmed me down and I felt better. And I haven't really been thinking about going to war with Gary Vaynerchuk since. So this is part reaction video, part counselling for me. Now, I don't know if you are going to approve of what I want you to react to today, but I've thought long and hard about this. This happened like 3.5 months ago, what happened 3.5 months ago, and I still think I want to make this video. So, it's not as if I'm going off, I do have a bit of a Celtic temper, but this isn't temper. This is just, I'll tell you what it is what I know about digital marketing. I teach digital marketing. I've done digital marketing forever. What I know about digital marketing is that somewhere between 60 and 70% of the difficulty is in dealing with the platforms. Okay, so it's in dealing with Facebook, it's in dealing with YouTube, with Google, with Twitter, with whatever. So I'm just getting back onto things. I'm starting to work hard again. And I've already got 3 or 4 of these issues going on where things aren't working. I'm not getting a response. They're still taking money from me. I've just started a guy. The guy's come on board. And I'm like, this is essentially digital marketing. This thing doesn't work. It could cost you a day or two to try and get it fixed and get it working again. So it feels like if I am serious about supporting people to be successful in their business and be more proactive in their marketing, I can't not tell them that 60% of the challenge is dealing with these, I want to say, arsehole organizations. So you're not disagreeing with me so far. So about 3 months ago, I had an incident with one of these companies. Not me, thousands of people around the world, I think, maybe millions of people around the world had a run-in with this particular company, and maybe they don't know. So I don't know what it is. So today, what I want you to react to is my experience and the appalling customer service of a company called Hootsuite. Are you familiar with Hootsuite?
I know of them. I think Mary uses them or has used them. So, yeah. And you're right. You didn't mention LinkedIn in that platform, which is my sole predominant sole. That's rubbish. I'm on other things, but LinkedIn is core to my business. And they are. So they're huge. And I do say LinkedIn changes stuff. Their help centers are all right. I remember my nephew getting blocked for nothing. It's just random. It was algorithmic, I'm sure, but he had to send in proof of ID witnessed by a lawyer in the UK. And I said, this kid's at university, it's going to cost him money. I was messaging them, tough, it's our system. I noticed they've changed that because a client of mine got the same, but he could just send something off. But you can't change them. My view is they are what they are. You got to get over it, around it, let it go, and just focus on it serving us. What do I need to do to it to serve us? But yeah, when you get onto that, and I've been dealing with banks lately for a different reason, and it's frustrating as heck. And I'm sure I can share something that's just gone on with another organisation, and it's frustrating because I think the bigger it is, harder it is to control. I've run SME businesses. I've been involved with corporates, and there's no way I'd want to run a bigger business now. No way I'd want to be involved running a corporate. Definitely not running a country, because it's just more bonkers. But go on, shoot. Let's have a look at Hootsuite.
Okay, so let's go. So I think I want to be the small businesses marketing champion. I want small businesses to be successful. I'm not a fan of corporations. I think they take way too much out. They put way too little in, and it is at the expense of us, the population, us, the small businesses. So I'm very much the small businesses marketing champion. So today something happened. For example, well, last week I was teaching product development, and it was interesting because I was talking to them. All the risk comes when you get separated from your customer. Like if you are working with your customer to develop the right products and the right services, and you're taking the feedback, then that for me is that's almost like a virtuous cycle. The danger is when you disconnect from your customer, and that's what this business that we're going to talk about today did. This is what Hootsuite have done, and basically take your phones off the hook. But I said to this group last week, like, you phone your bank, universally, the recorded message you will hear is, we are receiving an unexpectedly high call volume. And I've been hearing that message since 2010, probably. So what we know is that these businesses are data-driven. They absolutely know how many calls they're going to get, when they're going to get those calls, how those calls are going to be about. They know what those calls are going to be about. So what that message actually translates to me is, we don't give a shit about our customers, and we don't give a shit about our staff. And just to make this situation really bad, we're going to leave you sitting here stewing for 20 minutes, listening to the most appalling music we can find, so that you are in the very worst mood by the time you actually get through to a staff representative. So there is absolutely no way this interaction can go well.
I think this session for the next 25 minutes can actually be around what can the listener do for this, because you're so right. I just said I had an involvement with the bank. Longest story short, it was on with a credit card company, and I tried to raise my limit. I did it online, then I needed to do it verbally because I needed more, and they said you shouldn't have done that. You got to wait 6 months. And I finally got through to somebody, and I got through to an underwriter who could see my account. He said, "Yeah, I can override it." And in between that, I needed to speak to the fraud department because I'd made a big purchase and they blocked it. And I rang them, and they said, "Yeah, we need to put you through to the fraud department." So many different numbers, and exactly that message. We're reaching an unprecedented call rate. No. I've heard that. I've made 5 calls to you in the last week. Every time you're saying that.
Yes.
So I finally got through to someone, and I said, "Okay, put me through to the damn fraud department." "Okay, but it'll be about an hour." I said, "I can't do that." I said, "When?" And here's some maybe ideas for people. When is the quietest time? Because as you said, they know what it is. He said 11 p.m. midnight. I said, "I'm an hour ahead in Spain. That's midnight 1 a.m. I went, "Oh, crap. Okay, I'll do it." So I sat around all night, twiddling my thumbs, doing whatever, and went, right, called them, through in 5 minutes. So 2 things. I got through to an underwriter who could make the decision. And here's what I asked the lady before. And it's about asking the right questions. I said to her, she said, "Oh, we can't, you shouldn't have raised your credit limit online and then want to do it verbally again. You got to wait 6 months." I said, "Who can make the decision for me?"
Yes.
She said, "Well, you need to speak to an underwriter." I said, "Perfect. Can you put me through?" And it was a young guy, and we got on well, and he looked at my account, and bang, it happened. So a great question to the system, because the system's driven. I do believe it's all ego. I do believe the big corporates, you're right, the guys at the top go, "What the hell? We're going to lose a few clients, but who's going to move from a credit card company? Who's going to move from a bank?" They're measuring the numbers. They don't, like you say, they don't give a shit because the numbers are there and they make the profit. So the question to ask is, who has the authority? Who can I speak to that can make the decision? Because if you go high enough up the tree, beyond computer says no, there is someone that can override it. I've just done it with some mortgage companies with the help of my mortgage broker. We got hit with the system, and the system, we said, who can we speak to that is authorized to make a decision? Because the girl on the bloke will say, oh no, that's the system, I can't do anything about it. And I agree with them. I understand you can't do anything about it. Who can I speak to that is authorized to make the decision? If you use those words, think about it. They've gone to their boss and gone, this guy's asking who's authorized, and I can imagine them going, I'm authorized, put him through. And you go, hey, well, and yeah, he's got to do it for you then. So I've done that 3 times in the last month, and I think it's about Mary, my partner. We had a fuel crisis in the UK years ago. There was, if you remember it, I can't remember what year. She got through to the PA of the MD of whatever gas company it was in the UK, and we got our fuel delivery within a few days. She's a mistress at using that. So it's the same with the phone companies, isn't it? How many do they leave? Are you really going to switch? So yeah, it is a ball ache. I think you've got to, and there's a great tip. It's worked for us many times. And yeah, they are faceless. They're ego driven. That's why I don't like corporates. Everybody's ego driven. And
Yes.
big corporates, I'm sure they're going, yeah, we've got an hour's queue, but you can't use your credit card unless you get through to the fraud companies, fraud department. So they're going to hang on.
Yes.
Nightmare.
Okay.
It is.
And it seems like as a marketing trainer, as a marketing teacher, lecturer, whatever it is that I am occasionally, I'm constantly telling people, get close to your customers, understand your customers' needs, wants, desires, fears, frustrations, blah, 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 blah. Like the better you know your customer, the better off you will be. But it seems to me that it's kind of one rule for them and one rule for us, because they really don't give a shit about their customers. And they must have done the sums to know that the cost of that there is a cost benefit to that. Like that they aren't actually, or maybe they are. I don't know. But it feels like there's one rule for us and one rule for them. And the thing is, I think, is that, John Lennon who said, life is what happens whilst you're making other plans. It seems to me that running a business is what happens while you are under a constant bombardment from these corporations. So I've just had a thing today. I've had a copyright notice from some law firm in Scotland telling me that I owe £550 because there is an image on my website. I had no idea it was there. They've got no idea I'm not in the country. So I've sent them an email saying, thanks very much. I apologise. Didn't mean to do it. It wasn't me who did it. It's removed. I won't be paying anything. I won't be signing anything. Good luck. But if I was sitting in the UK and running my business, and this was happening to me when I was running my business, there's 8-10 people. And now I've just been landed with a bill for 500 quid from nowhere for essentially nothing. Because if I'd bought that image to put on my site, it might have cost me $8, So it seems to me that it would be remiss if we weren't to do this. And I think you're absolutely right. The positive in this is I'm going to show, I think, you and everyone who watches this exactly how not to do customer service. And in reverse, then you get the sense of how to do customer service. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's easy. I think we're talking marketing, but we're talking sales languaging as well, aren't we? And I think one of the things is if you're dealing with the big corporates, get a relationship with someone who can do something, because there's always a small cog that can bring you back, that can do something.
Yep.
Build a relationship with them. We're talking about relationships, but then flip that over. If we're running a small business, it should be damn easy for us to create customer service with our customers and stand head above everyone else. I think you've got 2 things. You've got the massive machine of corporate. They can't control it. And they're bringing people in. They're not training them well enough. They're with the right passion. And then the SME business owner is busy, doing life while life passes, or whatever Lennon said.
Yeah.
And they're not focusing on their customer service. So actually, for us as SME business owners, it should be damn easy for us to stand head and shoulders above by giving good customer service. I just a little thing, but we've been on just this call, wasn't it? But I logged in early. You said I knew you'd be early. I said I knew you'd be early. We sat there and waiting for the time. The amount of times, and I run a digital calendar, people book a call with me and I ring them bang on the minute.
Yep.
I've been called anal about it, but more times than that, I've had people at their opening gambit, and it's usually the logical, high standard, critical people have gone, "Wow, I'm impressed," and I've gone, "For what?" And I knew what the call was for 10:15, and you've rung me at 10:15. I said, "Well, that's business. That's my business. That's what I do."
Yeah.
And you've got an advantage straight away. You know, if you're not going to sell to them, then there's something wrong elsewhere. So
Yes.
it's just about setting a system and following it. And
But even more
it's easy.
basic than that, it's just about good manners, isn't it? It's just
Yep.
about understanding that your customers pay your wages. They pay the
Yep.
rents. They pay for everything. Do you know what I mean? This is like a business is a value transaction. You give value to your customers. They give value to you. They pay you. You
And all you
respect them. They respect you. You know, the world could be a much nicer place.
And all you've
Sorry.
got to do is look at it like that, because you're right. I used to run a sales office team and a sales team, and we would have some hard working, hard pain in the ass customers. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But actually, I believe, here's a phrase, it's like Pavlov's dog. People do what you educate them to do. So we educate our kids what they can pick up and what they can't, but it's the same with adults. If
Yes.
in the middle of this call I answered a phone to my mom or a client, then I've given them permission and I've educated them that the moment they ring, I'll call.
Yes.
So actually, I remember what some of my office staff going, "This woman's a pain in the ass." I went, "This woman pays our bills. I know
Yes.
she's hard work, so we've got to find a way to educate her and to work with her and give her what she wants, but also help it be two-way." You know, and that's the attitude. If people are going, customers are a pain in the ass, then guess what?
They're going to be. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like you say, you are educating them. So here's what happens. And I'll take, no, I'm not going to take any responsibility. I don't do a great deal anymore. So it's not like I sit down and I watch my bank accounts. I've got a good idea of what comes into my bank account and what goes out of my bank account every month. There's not very much coming in. There's not very much going out. It's not particularly an issue. Apart from one day, for somehow, like I might have got an alert on my phone, I might have got an email or something, and the message was, Hootsuite have taken $90 from your account. And I'm thinking, well, that's weird because I spend $30 a month with Hootsuite. So what I do is I go on their website and I get in their chatbot, which is an abomination. All chatbots are an abomination. When the thing about chatbots that frustrates me is that I know if I enter into a conversation, a service conversation on a chatbot, I'm going to be there for an hour and a half. And what I also know is that if I was to have a conversation with someone, it would be resolved in a minute and a half. So that frustrates me. That's another not to do in customer service. For me, I tell people, like when I'm training people, sales and marketing people, you should be looking for an excuse to talk to your customer, you know, but all of these companies are looking for an excuse to hide them. So anyway, I went to the chatbot. Hey ho, the chatbot doesn't work. What do you want to talk about? You're overcharging me. Do you want to download this PDF? No. What is your call about? You're overcharging me. Is your call about upgrading your account? No. What is your call? What is the issue? And it goes on like this. So half an hour in, you realize this is going absolutely nowhere. Maybe it's 15 minutes in these days. So the chatbot, they should remove it. They shouldn't pretend like anyone is going to get any satisfaction from their chatbot. So then I raise a ticket. So I go into a ticket because at this point I've got no idea what's going on. I just think, oh, they've overcharged me. Do you know what I mean? So I raise a ticket, and then the ticket says, I think I've got it here, if I've got this right. So the ticket says something like, speak to us. So here's the chatbot. I have an issue. I need support. And then, oh, that's behind. Oh, it's not even in place, is it? Ah, that's annoying. So can I put it in place like that? So here it is. How can you help? You're overcharging me. This goes on forever. So we don't have to do that right now. So then it says, message us on Twitter for support. So you go to Twitter, and literally this has gone on. Well, this started on March the 1st. It was still going on May the 16th. Literally, you're overcharging me. Why have you taken more money than you're supposed to take? So look here, April the 5th. So I don't know how many messages there were, because the idiots auto-respond every time somebody tags at Hootsuite. So So it just goes on. And then what happened? I don't know if you can actually see this. Can you actually see this? If I move it
Yeah.
more that way, you can see it. So here, what happens is I start to put a little gang together. Becca and Pronto Hire and other people are popping up and saying, oh, this is also happening to me. They've overcharged me. So what's happening? Okay, so when does this go back to? Hootsuite Help is March 23rd. Oh, that's as far as my notifications go back. Thank you for contacting the support team. We'll be happy to assist. Please send us a DM to better assist you. So if you ever use the tag at Hootsuite, you get that message. So you can imagine that their team in their Twitter response are getting bombarded because every time somebody tags them, they get that message. So they respond. So that's a completely stupid thing to do. So this went on for 6 weeks. And then what happened is I got bored of it. Oh no, then what happened is I Googled it. Because now I'm still in this, like I might be 3 or 4 weeks in this, I've still got no idea. As far as I know, it's a clerical error. They've overcharged me. Then I Google it, and it turns out that Hootsuite have decided to increase their prices. They've increased mine 3-fold. They've increased other people's 10-fold. So it's 1,000% increase in prices. Now, what I want you to understand is as a marketing consultant, I have advised 70 or 80% of my customers to increase their prices. People don't charge enough. They definitely don't. So I'm not shy of telling people to increase their prices. But I have never suggested to anyone that if they have a direct debit with somebody or a standing order, that they should just help themselves to 3 times as much money as they've agreed with the customer, which is essentially what Hootsuite has done. So let's come back to you. What do you think to that?
Wow. 2 things, I think, and it's going back to me with the banks and you're on hold for an hour. And because I was raging about it, going, why can't someone at the top look at this and just go, it's unacceptable, let's put some more staff on, especially with the credit card companies, we're making lots of money. Or in a simple form, I remember being taught, you look at the mentor of mine, bought a business, everyone was handling the phones, so he sat down and he said, I just want you to make a list of the calls that come in and we categorize them in the top 10 topics, and we write a script on how to deal with that topic. And then script number 11 is, if it doesn't match any of those topics, you refer it to your boss or something. Yes. So you can deal with those types of calls. So let's look at all these people that are ringing the fraud department. Why? Is there something we can give them? You can fix the system, you can put people in, or you can change it. Same with that Hootsuite. If this is what's happening, and I've not experienced any of that, but it's classic massive digital marketing sort of online business because it's just all automated. Surely if it's funneling everything to DMs, someone's got to deal with them. So how do you staff that up? That's the first thing. What was the other thing you were saying? Price increases. And me too. I talk to people about putting their prices up, but for me, I would say, and you want to either add more value or reinforce the value you've got and go communicate with the client. Mary, my partner, was talking to our bookkeeper about the same thing and said, you're too cheap. So he went and put the price up and just delivered a price increase to us. And she went, no. We don't want to pay because we're advising you're going to make a load of money, but that's by the by. Secondly, you've got to write to your clients or speak with them. You've got to add value. What else can you give them? Remind them of the value and all this, and just say, rather than we haven't had a price increase for 6 years, so I'm just hitting you with a price. You got to talk with them. Now, if you've got a massive millions of customers, now I could say, have they communicated that to you and you haven't seen it? If you haven't, then they're still at fault, aren't they? Because they've got to communicate in a way for you to see it. So no, you can't just hit people with price increases. No. But that's what the big corp, again, how many people need Hootsuite? And if they've got millions of clients, how many are really going to move? How many of them are going to go, do you know what? It's only 30 quid a month instead of 10 quid a month. They'll know the numbers, won't they? They'll know the customer churn from whacking price increases at them. And it's unsensitive.
Okay, you're hitting all of the points. Absolutely, 100% correct. So the thing is, hitting somebody with a price increase is telling them we're going to increase our prices. There are other ways to do that respectfully. We're really sorry. We value your customer. things are hard for us or whatever, we are going to have to increase our prices. That's one thing. Helping yourself to people's money because you have access to their bank accounts is another thing. That for me is theft, a straight up theft. Now, they could have emailed me. They could have WhatsApped me. They could have called me. They could have, the next time I logged into the system, had a big pop-up on the front of the screen saying, we're really sorry, but this is happening. You're right. If they've trebled their prices, they can afford to lose 60% of their customers. They are making the same amount of money for much less customer interaction, much less bandwidth, many less servers, etc., etc., etc. They might have done that some. But if I said to you, Andy, I want to spend 30 quid every month with you, and if you were to not pop around my house, I keep about 50 quid always in the drawer that's by the kitchen door. You can just take your money from there. If you come and you take 50 quid rather than the 30 quid that we've agreed, you've stolen that money. So this is theft, 100% theft. Now, the other thing, yes.
The caveat to that has to be, I don't know, and you may or may not know, whether they've communicated it to you and you haven't seen it. Because this is the great thing with purchasing law, isn't it? If they've written to you, I'm doing this now to claim some money back off an old landlady. And the authorities, the DPS in the UK have said, we've written to her now, she's got till the 20 whatever to respond. If they don't respond, then that's an acceptance of. So if you're certain they haven't communicated it in any channel, then yeah, you're right. You can't, it's tantamount to theft. If they have communicated and you haven't responded, then they'll say, it was agreed by non-response. So that's the only caveat, but you're right. And it is those numbers. I've said to clients exactly those maths. If you put your prices up by this, you can afford to lose this many clients and you're still making more money. Yes. So, but we still instigate it in a personal way with integrity.
In a respectful way.
These guys, in a respectful way was the word you used.
Yes.
These guys can't do that. It's such a big machine.
No, they can. They absolutely, 100% they can. So your caveat...
It's possible, but think of the hundreds or thousands of people who are amateurs in that organisation.
There's 1,500 people, and they've got 25 million customers. The thing is...
So
the thing is...
an arrogance with ego. And if the arrogance is from the top, then all the other people are going to... It's like LinkedIn. There's a lot of arrogance I see with LinkedIn's communication. So somebody at the top, where that has come down to somebody writing the process in the system and the response, the fish stinks from the head down.
Yes.
That's a great phrase. And in big corporates, I remember a guy in the UK, big consultant going into the NHS, and at the end of the TV program turned around and went, it's endemic. It can't be changed. It will not change. And it stinks. And I think that's what you've got with, the big organizations like that. Okay, cool.
So your caveat is it's not enough that they wrote to me. They could have emailed me. They could have called. They could have SMS'd me. They could have put a big notice on. Next time I log in saying, before you do anything else, you need to be aware of this. So the point is not that they wrote to me. That doesn't validate it. They had the mechanism to communicate it with me 100%. They didn't bother to do that. So for me, it's tantamount to theft. And somebody at a board level made this decision. We are going to increase our prices for 300% for some people, 1,000% for other people, and then we're going to take the phones off the hook. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. So it's good that you said that the fish stinks from the head up, because about 6 weeks into this, I got bored, and I'm like you. So my famous story is I used to phone up CEOs of huge corporations for a living. I used to do this. And my favorite story is when I sat down to watch the 2002 World Cup, it might have been, or it must have been the 2002 World Cup in South Africa, hosted in South Africa. Was it? Or was that the 2010? I don't know. Oh, no, it wasn't hosted in South Africa. That was later. This was yes. So it was France versus Brazil was the opening game. We sit down to watch it. We're drinking beers. We're eating snacks. It's blah, blah, blah. And then what happens is the commentator is saying, and as we count down to the half time, we all realised there wasn't a clock on the screen. So because this was being televised in South Africa, they obviously didn't realise. So what I did in the halftime break was phone the TV company, and I got through to the PA of the CEO, And I said to her, look, there's no clock. She's like, oh, they didn't give us a clock. I'm like, I think maybe you're supposed to put the clock on because it's like different time zones, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, 3 minutes into the second half, up pops the clock. So that's that's what you can get done if you make friends with these people. Anyway, so let's just go to put the final nail in the coffin for Hootsuite. Because what I did is I got bored and I went, where's my window gone? I got bored, so I wrote a LinkedIn message. I'm a LinkedIn fan like you. And I basically said, who is this guy? This guy is Tom Kaiser. Tom Kaiser is the CEO of Hootsuite. So I tagged him in a post saying, Tom Kaiser, where has it gone? So the first message was, where is it? I don't know, somewhere here. So, but basically, Tom Kaiser, who on earth do I need to speak to in your organization to get some service? And he messaged me, Max, saying, hi, Martin, connect with Matt Fingerhut. And I messaged him saying, this is why no one in your organization can be asked to do their job if this is the example you are setting. So 100%, the fish stinks from the head down. This guy is the CEO of a company employing 1,500 people with 25 million supposedly customers, and he can't be asked to do his job. Not even sorry, Martin, if you're having difficulties, this guy should really be able to help you out. Please let me know how you go. None of that. Literally, connect with Matt Fingerhut. So that's what I did. Matt Fingerhut is the head of customer organization. So this is the message. Like, oh, he's deleted all his messages. He's deleted all the messages. He has deleted all the messages. He's deleted all the messages. So what he said is basically, I said, yeah, I've got an issue, call me. And he's like, no, do something else. I can't even remember what it was. He's deleted the messages. The thing about Matt Fingerhut is that he is the head of customer organization, not the head of customer service, not the head of customer retention, not the head of looking after customers, the head of customer organization. So he must have made this decision. And he claims to consult corporations on how to provide amazing customer service. And he also couldn't be asked to do his job. It frazzles my mind. So even when you go to, here, Matt, SVP, Customer Organization at Hootsuite, Voices of Customer Experience, Matt Fingerhut. So this guy is renowned as a specialist in providing customer service, cannot be asked to do his job, to pick up the phone and have a conversation. This has cost me hours. You know, I've responded to, 20 emails. I've sent 20 tweets. This has cost me hours. This guy doesn't have the nous to pick up the phone and spend a minute with me and just apologize and just say, look, I'm really sorry. I'll tell you what his message said, it said what you said. I'm sorry, it appears you didn't get the email we sent you, which is bullshit. That wasn't even my complaint because I didn't even know there was an email, didn't know there was a price increase, didn't know any of this stuff. So he assumed, you know what assume means? He assumed that I had the issue that I hadn't received the communication. And the truth is, I went to them and I said, what's going on? And they didn't tell me. And there were dozens of interactions and I still don't know. And then their next response is, oh, if you do this, i.e. causing work for me, the customer, and I'm just telling them, cancel this account, delete my records. I don't want to do business with people who steal. So I've told you everything. It's a shit show. This guy is a fraud and a thief, and they can't be asked to do his job. This guy, Matt Fingerhut, and his boss can't be asked to do their job. And for that reason, nobody in their organization is doing their job. And this is where we find ourselves in 2022.
Interesting, because you said you wanted this to be a counselling session as well. They're maintaining they emailed you. and therefore gave you notice of price increase. You didn't respond, so therefore the price increase goes ahead.
No, no,
That's
no,
what
no,
they're
no,
meant
no,
to.
no, no, no. That's not what they're saying. No, they're assuming that, but that's not my complaint. But it doesn't
No, I
matter.
understand that.
They have it.
I
This is
understand.
a software as a service. It's a website. So I could
I
put a
understand.
notice on my website in about
I
3 minutes saying, "Hey
understand.
ho, be careful, guys. I know things are tough, but I'm trebling my prices." I could do that in 3 minutes.
I understand that, and you're right. And I come back to my default position that I talk to my LinkedIn clients about. It's the same, isn't it? It's huge. I'm going to put my hand up. We have a membership club at 97 quid a month. My other core business, part of the business, as you know, is clients pay me 2, 3, 4 grand a month for delivery. So there's
Yep.
two very different price points and client types ish. And if we get someone really, we've got a system. Mary's great at building the system. It's good. But if we get someone really playing hardball or going through a lot of hoops or whatever, I'll say to Mary, just let them go if they want to go. It's 97 quid a month. We cannot spend the time on people at that level because we're busy with those that don't and we're busy with the others. Now, you could argue, well, you're doing what Hootsuite did in a way, but I'm looking at the cost benefit of it, and I'm taking the 80-20 rule or even more, that 80%, 90, 95, 97% of the members are great. They're following the system, they're doing the stuff. We haven't got the time to address those that don't get it. We talked about educating people and they'll do what you educate them to. We're confident that our education process there is good because the other 97 whatever percent of people get it. So I can understand that. I'm not condoning it. There is a better way to communicate. A lot of CEOs have a certain type of behavioral profile. And if you understand a lot about different behavioral profiles, there's a lot of very similar sort of hardball psychopathic tendencies ish. For that CEO just to go back, connect with so and so. I could easily do that because I've got a similar sort of style. But
Let's
I've
not.
learned to stop and check. Hang on a second. I've learned to stop and check. And I might have said, tell you what, I'll hook you up with him. I'll copy him in and explain and let you deal with him because
Yes.
that's his ball. So yeah, he didn't do any he didn't he, he didn't do anything to smooth the water in that response back. But it's a classic. I'm generalising high D-traded CEO freaking response. And you know what? After all that, I wouldn't have spent the time you did. I don't know if there's other easy competitors to Hootsuite. That's more you're into more of those platforms and that stuff. I know we've just changed from one. I think it's ClickFunnels to something else. But my guys decided on that. My digital marketing guy and Mary have decided on that because I'm
Yep.
going. I don't have time. I don't want to be involved. If there's that much crap and time, fine, I'll move.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to go mad. You're going to invite somebody living in Spain to come and talk about it. You're going to spend hours. You're going to get frustrated. I back default position on LinkedIn. It is what it is. It is what it is. I either get it sorted and move on like I have with the credit card company, or I find a way around it and let it go and just do what it does to serve me.
Okay, and this is where I am, is that I know I've got 4 or 5 of these issues going on. If you engage with any of these digital platforms, it's the same story always. And the reason we're talking about this today, and the reason, and I'm resolved. This was 3.5 months ago. I've moved on. They'll never see another penny of my money. I will never, I will never recommend this to another classroom full of potential digital marketeers when I'm doing the digital marketing lecturing that I'm doing, when I'm teaching thousands of customers a year, to thousands of students a year. I'll never recommend them again. It's all fine. But I feel like if I am here to motivate people to invest more in their marketing and be more successful, and I don't tell them about this shit show coming down the road, then that would be a lack of responsibility. And I'm perfectly happy
Absolutely.
now to look like a dick to point this out to
No,
people. Is that these?
no,
Yeah.
I think we turn it around and you do what you do. You go, here's a
Yes.
great case study of what not to do. You're my student in a different marketplace as a smaller SME. What can you learn from this to make damn sure you don't do it? Because by the way, there's a gazillion small business owners whose customer service is also a shit show.
Yes.
So it could be a good case study. Awesome. I think you're
Love you,
right,
man.
man. I love you too, man. I got to shoot because I have a
I know
call
you
now
have.
with a potential customer. So I've got to put my potential customer service hat on, if that's okay.
Okay, and you're a minute late, and I know you hate that. I will speak to you very soon. I'm going to WhatsApp you my number right now.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. Let's do it again soon.
Let's do it again soon. Cheers, buddy. Bye.
Difference. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.